Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta. In a few weeks, the festive season will be upon us and the demand for gold is expected to go up between September to November as Indians will flock jewellery stores. So how will this impact gold prices? Before we discuss this, let's take a look at how the prices are at the moment. Well, we have seen the prices rebound from a 5-month lows. Some of the factors for this are the strength in US dollar, the high US Treasury yields, the weak global exchange trade fund and demand, and a rise in India gold ETF demand have been some of the factors that the street is working with right now. But how is it going to be when you look at the jewellery demand going forward is something that the markets will focus right now. Monsoons will play a role, so will the US Fed and the currencies as well. Joining me now to take this discussion forward is Chirag Sheth of Metal Focus. Chirag, hi, welcome to the show. First of all, we all have been discussing on how the second quarter did not go so well in sense of global demand, especially the Indian demand, which saw a very sharp decline because the prices were trading above 60,000 rupees. But in the last 1 month or so, we've seen prices come below 60,000. Do you see that as an impetus for the demand to improve as we soon get into the wedding and the festival season?
Yeah, hi, Manisha. Absolutely. I think this is, one of the most crucial periods in terms of Indian gold demand that we're entering into. Usually your Q3 and Q4 anywhere contribute between 60%, and thereabouts of our overall demand, and thus it is the most important period. Also, I think it comes at the back of, the sowing season and the harvesting season. So essentially, you've got the fact that rural economy is doing well. You've got festive and wedding seasons up, so this is where actually the big demand comes from. I think what we see on the ground is essentially there is a bit of positive now mood which is getting built up. We had a very good IIJS actually which happened earlier this month, and most of the manufacturers or retailers that we spoke with were fairly positive for demand, in the coming 6 months or so.
Oh, well, absolutely. The exhibitions, the festivals that we've seen on ground, and that has clearly been happening in various cities and states, Chirag. So whether that has been about IIJS, we've seen something happen in Jaipur, there was something happening in various cities, and the numbers seem to be good. And not just gold, that's a strong number that we hear about. Diamonds, even silver for that matter, that exhibition also went in quite well. So the demand, the numbers that we hear on ground with the expectation that they have orders now for the next 3 to 6 months as well, and people have done big chunky jewelry, big caratages as well. Do you think that's sustainable and that demand will show into numbers?
Well, I think one thing, Manisha, is for sure is that first 6 months were a complete washout, right? I think we saw demand in each of these quarters fall by anywhere between 10 to 20%. So I think A, the demand was weak. B, the stocking by the retailers was also, fairly weak in that sense. So there is, the IIJS and the various jewelry shows that we saw, the first big impetus came from restocking by the trade. In fact, the India Gold Conference just got concluded in Calcutta. And some of the meetings that we had with few bankers told us that there were fairly decent amount of shipments which have started to come in for both gold and silver in the month of August. So we could very well see that the import numbers in August would be much better compared to what we've seen in past, 2 to 3 months time.
So as of now, the way we look at the Indian markets, is it, we've seen more exchange than new buying in the previous quarter. Do you see that changing?
I think yes, in a sense, I think high prices has led to a bit of impetus to the exchange, which has happened. But now with the festive and the wedding season coming in, we believe that the new purchases would also start picking up. Also, the fact that a lot of people have not bought in the first 6 months, anticipating that the prices would come down. However, while international prices have come down, we've had a bit of negative impact because of the rupee depreciation.
Right.
However, I think that demand will also start coming back to the market, given the fact that we are now entering into the peak festive and wedding season.
Yes, it is. How would you, are you willing to put out a number really for the second half of this year now in sense of demand growth? Do you think it's going to be 5, 10, 15%? Also from here on for the rest of 2023, what's your range for the prices for gold?
So I think, purely on the demand, I think we still might do a bit lower than what we did in 2022. So I think, Metal Focus is estimating anywhere between, 4 to 8% in terms of gold demand. And I think jewelry for silver, last year was a completely, I would say, a record year, completely out of the normal. So I think there we are seeing a much more steeper fall, roughly about 20 to 30% drop in jewelry consumption on silver. However, for gold would be more like 4 to 8%. I would say, given the fact that the prices are so high in both dollar as well as rupee terms, these are fairly decent numbers if you actually put it into perspective. With regard to price, I think Manisha, we've been saying that these high prices are still something which is not justifiable. I think the fundamentals to some extent still point towards lower prices. I think if you look at this week, and this week is a crucial one because we've got the Fed chairman and the ECB chairman speaking. Fed is going to speak at the Jackson Hole summit, and I think somewhere Fed will lay out that while the inflation is coming down, it is still not out of the woods. And I think Fed we may give some sort of indication that it will hold for long. So I think that could further pressure prices. I think more reasonable price levels are anywhere between $1,800 to $1,850.
All right, that's quite a decline from where we are trading right now. But I do understand something that we learned in the previous quarter is that you have to look at value and volume of the trade separately. And that is perhaps is what we would be doing in the second half of 2023 as well. Chirag, as always, thank you so much for taking time out for us and laying out all of those facts and figures for our viewers. Let's now shift focus to the gem and jewellery industry, and Bangkok is bracing for a 68th edition of its gem and jewellery fair, which is set to be held between September 6th and 9th. Ahead of this, the Thai Department of International Trade, Promotion and Gem and Jewellery Institute of Thailand hosted a roadshow in Jaipur. We are joined by now Navratan Kothari, whom we caught there. He's the chairman of KGK Group that is involved in a variety of businesses, including gemstones, diamonds, mining, among others. Mr. Kothari, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And, while we keep talking about gold and diamonds, we do understand that gemstones are an equally stronger part, and that is where Jaipur really shines bright here. What's your sense? While we are talking about the Indian markets here, but there are a lot of inter-country festivals as well happening. This one with Thailand. What does it really mean for India?
I'm well aware of the Bangkok market because we are there from last 40 years, and things are very good because Bangkok is known as the international market for gemstones, and Jaipur is also the same, but Jaipur is known for emeralds, Bangkok is known for ruby and sapphires. And as far as India is concerned, the traditional people who buy here mostly gold jewelry with diamonds. But gemstones also are used, but that is only in very exclusive way and with the high strata of the people who understand gemstones, they buy gemstones also. And I think Bangkok is the right zone for rubies and sapphires in the whole world.
All right. We also do understand that there's a bit of a slowdown in the Western countries, but that's not really the case for many Asian countries. So whether it's about Middle East, Bangkok, as you said, India as well, how would you look at demand coming in for the second half of this year?
Demand should be good because presently color stone are becoming very popular, and color stones are liked by the people all over the world, and sales of color stone is increasing every month.
Mr. Kothari, you're also spread out in almost 15 countries in terms of procuring, processing, manufacturing. So which businesses of yours would you say is doing better than the other?
See, we source color gemstones from many countries, from Zambia, from Sri Lanka, and from Gemfield, who are doing regular auctions, and some other miners are also there. So keep on bidding, and we keep on buying resurface stones, and we get it manufactured in Thailand and in Jaipur both.
Mr. Kothari, at the moment there has been a lot of conversation about ethical sourcing in the industry, and then there is a foray into digital and new technologies. What's your view on that? And we do understand that most of the jewelry sectors are, spread over generations.
We are adopting all the latest technologies because we are in diamond business also. So we understand very well what is ethical system of procurement and how it should be worked and how it should come out. So nowadays, all the mining, there's a lot of good culture in the mining fields also. And the miners also observe the ethical standards and the safety measures of the mines.
All right. You also are a big name in B2B as well as retail for that matter. So what are you giving to the Indian buyer now that, as you said, the tastes are maturing, the demand growth is getting better. It's not just about gold, it's about diamonds, it's about lab-grown diamonds. And as you said, emeralds, sapphires, rubies, all of that seems to be doing well.
Indian market is also getting more and more into colored gemstones. And a lot of jewelries are designed which are using colored gemstones in India also nowadays.
Would you want to give us a growth number on what we are seeing in sense of gemstones?
I think this year, I think it should be more than 20% growth. But fine quality gems are used mostly by the rich people. But the medium tag goods and medium price goods are used in plenty in the new jewelry designs.
All right. So while we might be looking at a gold demand going down by 4 to 8%, but the gemstone demand is expected up by nearly 20% going forward. Thank you, Mr. Kothari. We now have with us Mr. Chetan Mehta, who's National Vice President of India Bullion and Jewellers Association. Mr. Mehta, hi, welcome. And clearly, the last couple of months have been all about Indian jewellers talking to the B2B market, also to the international markets. What are India and Thailand now trying to do together when it comes to gem and jewelry?
Thank you, Manisha. I think this is a great initiative taken by DITP for promoting this 68th fair of Bangkok Gems and Jewellery Fair. And I think Namaste Jaipur is one of the event is going to happen to have a good relationship between India and Thailand. And as gemstones play a very important role in our country, and let it be emerald, ruby, or sapphire. And today we can see that today gemstones, high-end gemstones, and high-end silver jewelry is fast moving in countries. And I think both the countries are coming together in the business development. And I think we are going to be the big mass leaders in the world. And I think these two countries are collaborating and trying to have a great business, both the sides.
Chetan, can you also share on what kind of businesses do India and Thailand do as of now when it comes to jewelry?
Yes, we can. I think today we import a Bangkok silver high-end jewelry with the great technology what is made in Bangkok silver jewelry, and gemstones we get from the Thailand, and let it be ruby, emerald, we export from India, and we even do the same thing from the Thailand. So we have a great collaboration and combination of gemstones and silver jewelry. We are doing a partnering business with India and Thailand.
Chetan, as everybody has been saying that the first half of this year was a complete washout. We didn't see great numbers when it comes to jewelry as a sector. What are you hoping with the second half, with the festivals and the wedding season coming in?
Manisha ji, we look after always. You can't compare the first or second quarter, third, fourth quarter. There are quarters which go slow. Now, second quarter, we have seen a great sale, a great demand in the market. And I'm sure, as usual, from last year to this year, we are going to grow around 20 to 25% more. And I think second and third quarter will do great. Compared to last year's, this year, second and third quarter will have a high demands in the market, and it will do a great business. And I'm sure into gems and jewelry industry, more than 25% this year we will jump into sales what we did last year.
All right. Well, yes, all the listed companies who have come out with their results, including Titan, have shown great numbers when it comes to bridal jewelry and in sense of jewelry sales as well. But India has silver and gold and diamonds and various other kind of stones. Do you believe that India has a strong appetite for very, very expensive stones, which is emeralds and rubies?
Yes, Manisha ji, it's a very niche of the market. Today, we buy any of the necklaces. We like to have a beautiful emeralds in that, ruby in that, sapphires in that, and it plays an equal role. We can't tell that jewelry only diamond jewelry sales in the market. There is always a combination of gemstones is involved in that to make more beautiful. When we make one of the beautiful necklace, we try to stud one emerald in between, one ruby in between, one sapphire in between. So I think it's a different market have a different role to play. But gem and jewelry, gemstones have a huge market in India, huge potential. When you talk about today, if you talk about, believe in the astrology, people like to wear only high-end sapphires, high-end rubies and emeralds. And today, I think India is a more traditional country, and they believe this is not only the gemstones we call as Navagrahas, and we do a puja of that grahas also, and we feel that this is very sign of prosperity. So there is a different thinking when it comes to India. India is totally emotionally attached with their tradition, and gemstones plays very important role. So I think every jewelry has an importance. Gold has its own importance. Silver has importance. Even the gemstone is a backbone of our industry. We can't deny that. That plays a very important role. We can't deny that.
All right. Well, yes, absolutely. India has a very strong demand when it comes to jewelry and various aspects of it. Mr. Mehta, as always, thank you so much for joining us. And on that note, it's time for a short break. But don't go anywhere, because we speak to Paryanusaran, Deputy Director, Business at Gem and Jewellery Institute of Thailand, on the other side. Welcome back. We now have with us Sitichai Paryanusaran. He is Deputy Director Business at Gem and Jewellery Institute of Thailand, the organization that conducted the Roadshow in Jaipur. Sitichai, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And let me start by asking you on what has the Indian Gem and Jewellery fraternity response been to the last edition of the fair? Like, what are you expecting from this year's edition?
I personally think that for the last 2 years that we never have the face-to-face show. Last year was the very first one for the free mask show, which has been reporting a very good good number, good statistic. The people who visited the show last time was about 16,900 people for the whole 5 days. Comprising with that, they have a lot of the people who participate in the show. The good number of the exhibitor increasing from the expected of 15,000 up to 18,000. That was a very good number. But for this year, once we open up the registration, we have been in very short period of time, we have been booked for more than 2,400 booths, and we still do not have enough the booths for the exhibitor, and we still have tons of the about hundreds of the people who are in the waiting queue, which we have to well organize for the next show too. In this year, we're expecting to have more than 30 visitors to come to the show, which is the new place. And this new place is also the challenge for us, because of for this kind of show, we have to handle a lot of the demand, and we have to handle a lot of the expectation from the customer all over the place, all over the world. But we have been blessing from the last time that we have done our good show, and the people then have the expectation to have the better show for this year.
We've been talking to a lot of players within the market in India and outside as well, and we do understand that jewelry as a sector seems to be growing, and we've seen so many fairs happen in India and outside as well with collaborations. What is it that you think now works for the industry?
We have been blessing by having a lot of the organization that would like to participate in our show, including we are going to have the World Gold Council, which is the the UN of the gold trader, to spend 1 day of them in Thailand for doing the summit. The summit meeting is very important for the gold trader in Thailand. So that's one of the things that will be along with the Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Show. Another one, we have the the academics and also the labs scientists to harmonize the colors and also the definitions of the stone together. Right now, we have been asking, and we have been accepting the reservation of that for more than 40 scientists, for more than 40 gemologists all over the world to do the harmonization in this show, along with the trade show as well. And also with that, we have a lot of the demand from the China market, Indian market, especially China market. We also having the association, which is the NGTC. They are going to have the commitment in terms of the academic and also the trade together with the GIT and also the DITP in this show as well. I do think that this is another level of the show rather than just only the trading show.
And it all boils down to the kind of money or the revenues that the industry really would be getting out of here. So what's your sense on what kind of business can we see come out this year from this fair?
That is a very good question. Last year, we have been successful in terms of the, in the show revenue. And also after the show revenue, even greater. This year, we're expecting to have at least $100 million to be in the show trading. And after that, we also having the commitment, not just only the trading together, but today that I have the conversations with a lot of the Indian fellows and Indian association, they committed to have the business collaboration and also investing in Thailand after the show too. That is the blessing of the good relationship between Thailand and India.
Srichai, thank you so much for joining us. Well, that's yet another voice telling us that they are looking at stronger numbers when it comes to gems, jewelry, diamond and precious stone as a segment for the second half of this year. This is exactly the time that you see demand picking up, not so much from China or US, but the trade seems to be doing quite well when it comes to Asian countries like Thailand, India, and of course, Middle East as well. The numbers seems to be growing there. But that's all the time that we have on the show. It's a wrap on edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.